Christmas dinner at my parents' place always felt like a circus, but in the best way. Grandpa set his wine glass down, gave me that warm, familiar smile, and suddenly I noticed just how packed the house was. 26 people, every inch filled, food piled high on every surface. Dean, my brother, at the head of the table, spinning some story about another business win. Claire laughing just on cue, my folks grinning like it was all some perfect family movie. Classic Morrison holiday chaos. Loud, happy, a little overwhelming, and then Grandpa asked his question. Not quietly either. "So Cameron," he said, voice booming over the chatter, "how do you like the cabin?" Suddenly, Forks paused in midair. I drive past it sometimes when I'm up near Gran. Looks like it's holding up well. You keeping it up? I just nodded and smiled, not wanting to let on that I had no clue what he meant. Maybe he mixed me up with another grandkid. He was 86 after all. "Sorry, Grandpa. What cabin?" I asked, trying to keep it light. That's when everything shifted. My mom's fork hit her plate with a sharp clatter. Her face went white. My dad froze, caught in that weird limbo of panic and guilt. Grandpa's smile faded, replaced by confusion, then worry, then something almost like dread. He spoke slowly, every word heavy. "The cabin. On Lake Granby. 3 bedrooms, dock, boathouse. The one I bought you for your 30th birthday. 5 years ago." The whole room didn't go quiet at once. It took a few seconds for people to notice the tension, for the laughter to fade and heads to turn. "Grandpa, I don't have a cabin," I said, gentle, thinking this had to be a mix-up. "I've never had a cabin." "I don't know what you mean." I watched Grandpa's face harden, that confusion sharpening into something colder. He turned to my dad. "Richard, where is the cabin?" His voice was soft, but there was nothing gentle about it. Dad opened his mouth, closed it, tried again. Nothing came out. Mom covered her mouth, eyes huge and terrified. That look you get when you know the lie is about to spill out and there's no way to stop it. Grandpa stood up, slow and deliberate. Every eye in that room turned to him. "Richard," he said louder. 5 years ago, September 2018, Cameron's 30th birthday. I wrote you a check for $380,000. I gave you the realtor's number, the listing instructions. You said you'd take care of it, put the deed in Cameron's name. You sent me photos. You told me Cameron loved it. Where's the deed?" My father tried again. "Dad, we can explain. It's complicated. There were things Cameron didn't." Grandpa brought his hands down hard on the table. Glasses jumped, silverware rattled. My little nephew burst out crying. People gasped. "Complicated?" Grandpa's voice cut through the room. "I gave you $380,000 to buy Cameron a birthday present. Something meaningful. Something for life. I trusted you. And you tell me it's complicated?" Mom was sobbing now, shaking so hard she could barely sit upright. Claire had gone pale. Dean stared at his plate, wishing he could vanish. I just sat there, stunned, trying to make sense of it all. $380,000 for a cabin. For me. For my 30th birthday. A birthday where all I got was a card and a $50 gift card to REI. I thought Grandpa had forgotten me that year. I told myself it didn't matter. I didn't need gifts. 30 was just another day. I had no idea there was a cabin, a gift worth more than $250,000 meant for me. "Show me the paperwork," Grandpa said, his voice cold as ice. All that old warmth gone. "Show me the deed with Cameron's name. Show me closing documents. Show me anything that proves you did what I asked. What I paid for. What I trusted you to handle." No one said a word. Dad looked at Mom. Mom just shook her head, crying so hard she could barely breathe, and that's when it hit me. They'd taken it. The money, the cabin, the gift, gone. I'd spent 5 years thinking no one cared about my 30th. Never knew what was missing. "Where is it?" I asked. My voice didn't sound like mine. It echoed like it was coming from somewhere else, somewhere far away. "Where's my cabin?" I asked. My father finally looked at me. His face was all guilt, raw, heavy, obvious. The kind you can't hide or talk your way out of. He started rambling. "Cameron's son. We made a decision. Dean was in a tough spot. His business had just tanked. He needed something. An asset. Something." He trailed off, but I'd heard enough. More than enough. "Dean has my cabin." I didn't ask, I just knew. It felt like ice settling in my chest. My dad nodded, barely. "But it was enough. We put it in his name," he said. "Dean was struggling. You were doing fine. Good job, good career. You didn't need a cabin. But Dean, he needed something to hold on to, some hope, something to." I held up my hand. I couldn't take any more. I didn't want to hear their excuses. "You took $380,000, money Grandpa gave you for me, and handed it to Dean. You stole from your own son and now you're acting like it was just a family decision. Like it makes sense. My mom tried to speak, tears in her voice. We didn't steal. We're your parents. We know what's best. We made a choice. We thought you'd get it. You're so stable, so successful. Dean needed help. He's always needed more. We were just trying to help him. We thought. Grandpa cut her off, voice booming over everyone. Susan, you stole from your son. From my grandson. You took money I gave with clear instructions. That money was never yours to give away. It was for Cameron. That's theft. That's fraud. That's unforgivable. He turned to Dean, who still hadn't looked up, just stared down at his plate, like he could disappear if he tried hard enough. Dean, Grandpa said. Look at me. Dean didn't move. Dean, look at me. Finally, Dean looked up, face pale, miserable. Did you know? Grandpa asked. Did you know the cabin was supposed to be Cameron's? That the money was for his 30th birthday? Dean's face said it before he did. Yeah, he whispered. I knew. Then the whole table exploded. My aunt shouted. My uncle demanded answers. Claire yelled at our parents. Cousins argued. My nephew started bawling. It was chaos. 26 people who'd been eating Christmas dinner, suddenly watching our family blow apart. Me. I just stood up, grabbed my coat and headed for the door. My mom called after me. Cameron, please don't leave like this. We can explain. We can work this out. You're being unreasonable. It was 5 years ago. Let it go. Dean needed it. You don't even like camping. Why do you care about a cabin you'd never use? I stopped at the door and looked back at her. The woman who raised me, fed me, clothed me, and stole almost $400,000 from me without blinking. I care, I said, because it was mine. Because Grandpa chose it for me. Because you took it, gave it away, and lied about it for 5 years. I care because every single one of you knew. You knew I'd been robbed. You knew Dean was living in my cabin, using my gift, and not one of you said a word. 5 years. Nothing. That's why I cared. I walked out into the icy December night. Got in my car, drove away from my parents' house, away from the family, away from 26 people who just watched the Morrison family secret rip wide open. I drove to my apartment in Boulder, my 1-bedroom, nothing special. Parked, sat in the car for 20 minutes, engine off, heat fading, just sitting there in the dark trying to process it all, trying to figure out what I was supposed to do next. $380,000. That number wouldn't leave my head. $380,000 for a cabin I'd never seen, never visited, never even knew existed. For 5 years, I thought nobody cared enough about my 30th birthday to do anything special for me. The whole time, Dean was up at Lake Granby, living in my cabin, enjoying the gift Grandpa meant for me. My phone rang. Dad. I didn't answer. Mom. Claire. Ignored. Dean. No way. Then Grandpa called. I picked up. Cameron, he said, sounding older, heavier than I'd ever heard him. I'm coming over. I have documents you need to see. This is worse than I thought. Much worse. He showed up an hour later, carrying an old leather briefcase. I let him in, made coffee we didn't touch. We sat at my kitchen table, the one I bought at IKEA 6 years ago when I moved here, the one where I ate dinner alone, worked late nights, celebrated quiet birthdays by myself because my family was always too busy to visit Boulder. My parents never came. Dean never came. Claire stopped by once. But Grandpa, he showed up all the time. Every few months he'd take me out to dinner and we'd sit for hours while he told stories, how he built his real estate empire, what Grandma was like before she died. I never met her. The deals he'd closed, the buildings that still had his name on the blueprints. He talked about the legacy he wanted to leave, and for a long time I thought I was part of it. I honestly believed he saw me as the one to pass everything on to, or at least the one he wanted to teach. Turns out he did try. He tried to make me part of it with a $380,000 cabin. But my parents stole it. Grandpa showed up one night with his old briefcase, the same one he's carried for decades. He pulled out a stack of documents and laid them on the table. After dinner, he said, I went home and pulled every record, every document, every single thing about the gifts I've given you kids over the years. I really thought your parents were being honest. I thought they split things up fairly. I was wrong. So wrong. He laid down the first document. A check for $380,000, made out to Richard Morrison. Dated September 10, 2018. Memo line, Cameron's 30th birthday cabin, Lake Granby property. The check was cashed 2 days later. My parents took the money, bought the cabin, and never breathed a word to me. Here's the closing documents, Grandpa said, pushing more papers across. Lake Granby. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,000 square feet. Dock boathouse, 1.2 acres. Purchased September 28, 2018. Sale price $378,000. The title? Dean Richard Morrison. My little brother. The golden child. The one who couldn't mess up if he tried, who got everything handed to him. Now he had a cabin worth nearly $400,000 that was supposed to be mine. I have letters, Grandpa said, voice quieter now. He pulled out more papers, letters he'd sent my father over the years, checking in about the cabin, asking if I was enjoying it. I read them. Grandpa's handwriting, always neat, always on his personal letterhead. Just wanted to check on Cameron's cabin. Hope he's getting good use out of it. Drove by the Lake Granby property last week. Looks well maintained. Glad Cameron's taking care of it. Thinking about Cameron's 30th birthday gift. Hope the cabin has been everything I hoped it would be for him. And my dad's responses. Type. Cool. Cameron loves the cabin. Goes up there constantly. So grateful for your generosity, Dad. The cabin is perfect. He's made it his own. You did good. Can't thank you enough for what you did for Cameron. He cherishes that place. Every single word a lie. Every line designed to keep Grandpa from ever asking me about it, from ever finding out what they'd done. There's more, Grandpa said. His voice cracked. Cameron, I've been giving you kids money for years, always through your parents. I thought they were splitting it up equally. I gave them money for all three of you, college funds, down payments, emergencies, business stuff, always the same. Or at least that's what I thought. He pulled out a ledger. Old school with yellowed pages, columns, and Grandpa's careful handwriting, the kind he used before computers. I keep records, he said. Always have. Every dollar I give, every distribution. 40 years of habit. Tonight, after dinner, I started comparing what I gave to what your parents said they gave you. The numbers don't match. Not even close. He opened to pages going back a decade. Year by year, gift by gift. Left column, what Grandpa gave. Right column, what my parents claimed they passed on. Look, he said, pointing at 2016. I gave $50,000 for college graduation gifts. $25,000 for you, $25,000 for Dean. You both graduated. Your parents told me they gave Dean $50,000. Told me you'd gotten scholarships and didn't need it. They kept your $25,000. I just stared at the page. I didn't get any graduation money, I said. I thought you'd just given Dean something. I didn't know there was supposed to be anything for me. Grandpa's face just fell. There was, he said. I gave them money specifically for you. They kept it. He flipped to the next year. 2017. Down payment help. I gave $30,000 for each of you. You were both looking to buy. Parents said they gave Dean $50,000. Told me you wanted to keep renting. Kept your $30,000. I shook my head. I couldn't afford a down payment. I wanted to buy but didn't have the money. I just thought I needed to save longer. I didn't know there was money. Grandpa kept flipping. Entry after entry, year after year. Money for Cameron. Money Cameron never saw. Money sent to Dean or just gone or used for who knows what. 2018, the cabin. You know how that went. 2019, emergency fund. I gave $15,000 for each of you. You both had surprises, unexpected expenses. Parents said they gave Dean $25,000. You said you handled your emergency alone. Kept your $15,000. I remember 2019, my car died, needed a new transmission. $8,000 gone just like that. My emergency fund wiped out. I asked my parents for a loan so I could get by until I rebuilt my savings. They refused. Said I had to learn to solve my own problems. Said asking for money was weak. Dean would never ask for help, they told me. And the whole time, Grandpa had given them $15,000 just for me, just for this. They kept it. Told him I managed on my own. Let me drain my savings while they pocketed the money meant to help me. Jumped to 2020 business investment money. I gave $40,000 each to you and Dean. You were thinking about starting a consulting practice. Dean was starting another business. Your parents told me they gave Dean $60,000. Said you changed your mind about the consulting. But that's not what happened. I changed my mind because I couldn't afford it. I couldn't quit my job without something to fall back on. I told my parents I wished I could take the risk, but I didn't have a safety net. They just nodded, said sometimes stability matters more than dreams. Never mentioned there was $40,000 set aside for me. Never said a word. They gave it to Dean. Funded his business, his dream, his risk. Me. I stayed in my job. Played it safe. Thought I had no choice. And then Grandpa started crying. Real tears streaming down his face. Cameron, he said, I added it up. 10 years from 2015 to 2024, I gave your parents $530,000, all supposed to be for you. Money with your name on it, meant to help you build your life. They gave you maybe $50,000. The other $480,000? They kept it. They gave it to Dean. Used it for themselves. I don't even know. But you never got it. Never even knew it was there. $530,000 over 10 years. That's $53,000 a year on average. Money that could have changed everything. I could have bought a house, started a business, taken real risks. Built something. Money that was mine, meant for me, systematically siphoned away year after year. Gift after gift. Lie after lie. I whispered, add in the cabin. My brain did the math. $380,000 for the cabin, plus $480,000 in stolen gifts. $860,000 altogether. Grandpa nodded. $860,000 that I gave for you, that you never received, that your parents stole over a decade. Cameron, I'm so sorry. I should have checked. I should have asked you, should have verified, not just trusted. This is my fault. I shook my head. No, it's not. You trusted your son and daughter-in-law. You thought they'd do the right thing. They're the ones who stole, who lied. Not you. But inside I was spinning. $860,000. Nearly $1 million. Stolen by my own parents. Given to my brother. Used for who knows what, while I struggled, working late, saving every penny, denying myself things because I thought there was no help. Because I believed I had to do it all alone. Because I never knew. Help was there, meant for me, and they gave it to Dean. What do I do now? I looked at Grandpa, this old man who tried to help, tried to give me a shot, and who got betrayed just like I did. He wiped his eyes. Took a breath. When he spoke, his voice was steady. You sue them. File criminal charges if you want. Take them to court. Make them pay back every cent, get the cabin in your name. Burn it all down. What they did isn't just unfair or favoritism. It's theft. Fraud. It's a crime. They need to face real consequences. Not just apologies. Not just explanations. Consequences. I nodded. I felt calm settle over me, the same calm I get when I'm solving a tough engineering problem. When you know there's a right answer and you just have to work through the steps. Okay, I said. Let's do it. Let's burn it all down. Grandpa squeezed my shoulder. I'll help you every step. I'll testify. I'll bring every document. I'll pay for the best lawyer money can buy. This is partly my fault for not checking, for trusting people who didn't deserve it. But I'm going to help you fix this. I promise. We stayed up until 4 a.m, going through every document, every ledger, every check and letter. Building a 10-year timeline of theft, of fraud. By the time Grandpa left, the sun was rising. Christmas morning, supposed to be a day of joy, family, celebration. This year, it was the day I learned my parents stole almost $1 million from me. The night I made up my mind to take them down, I didn't sleep. I just sat at my kitchen table, drowning in paperwork, staring at the evidence, the cold, ugly truth of what my own family had done. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing, calls, texts, more calls. Parents, siblings, cousins, everyone wanted to talk, to explain, to patch things up. I ignored all of them. Monday morning, I went to work like nothing had happened. Walked into the engineering firm, sat at my desk, pretended my life hadn't blown up 2 days earlier. Pretended I hadn't just found out my family had been stealing from me for years. My boss asked how Christmas went. I just shrugged. Interesting. Some family drama, but it's fine. Total lie. Nothing was fine. I couldn't even say the words yet. Couldn't admit out loud that my parents were thieves, my brother helped, and everyone else just watched it happen. At lunch, I called a lawyer, one of the best in Denver, a guy who lives and breathes fraud, family law, white-collar messes. Set up an appointment for Wednesday. Spent Tuesday sorting through every document Grandpa ever gave me, making a timeline, lining everything up. I wasn't going into this half prepared. Wednesday afternoon, I left work early and drove downtown to Marcus Webb's office. He's in his 50s, sharp eyes, expensive suit, nothing surprises him anymore. We sat in his glass-walled conference room. I spread out the files, told him everything. Christmas dinner, the cabin, my parents panicking, Grandpa's digging, the ledger, 10 years of theft, $860,000 gone, money that should have been mine. Marcus just listened, scribbled notes, barely blinked. When I finished, he leaned back. This is one of the clearest fraud cases I've seen in 20 years, he said. Multiple counts. Theft by deception. Breach of fiduciary duty, if we can show your parents had that duty as distributors of your grandfather's gifts. Maybe even forgery if they signed anything for you. And that's only civil. Could be criminal too. Wire fraud if money crossed state lines. Tax fraud if they didn't report it. We're talking potential federal charges. I nodded. What do you think I should do? He tapped his pen, thinking. Start with civil. Sue for everything: the money, the cabin, damages, legal fees. Punitive damages too, because this wasn't an accident. It's a pattern. Judges hate that. Juries hate it more. He leaned in. Criminal charges are a bigger question. Do you really want your parents in prison? Your brother as an accessory? That's up to you. But if they fight the civil case, if they lie or refuse to pay, then criminal charges aren't just possible, they're smart. Because then they're not just thieves. They're unrepentant thieves. And that's worse. I sat there thinking, weighing what it would mean to ruin them completely. If I could actually do it. If they deserved it. They did. Still, I wanted to give them a chance to own up, to fix it. So I told Marcus, let's start with civil. Sue for everything. Make it public. Give them a chance to settle, return the money, sign over the cabin. But if they fight, we go criminal. File charges. Make sure everyone knows what they really are. Marcus smiled, a lawyer's smile, not warm, just confident. I'll have the papers ready by Friday. We'll file Monday. This is going public, Cameron. Your family's secrets in court records. The media could pick it up. Are you ready for that? I nodded. They stole from me for a decade. Let everyone see. I'm done caring about embarrassment. I just want justice. We filed the papers Monday, December 30th, 2024. Civil suit against Richard and Susan Morrison. Fraud, theft, breach of trust. Demanding every cent back, the cabin transferred, damages, legal fees. Total, $1.2 million, $860,000 stolen, $340,000 in damages, penalties, costs. The story blew up instantly. Local news ran it. Man sues parents for nearly $1 million in stolen inheritance. Reddit, Twitter, TikTok, everyone had something to say. People said I was ungrateful. They told me family doesn't sue family, that I should just forgive and move on. Others called my parents monsters, said theft is theft, blood doesn't excuse it. I didn't get into it with anyone. Didn't read the comments, didn't argue back. I focused on the lawsuit, on getting back what was mine. My parents started calling every day. Sometimes 5, 6 times in a row. They left these long voicemails, voices shaky, rambling. Cameron, please. We never wanted to hurt you. We were only trying to help Dean. He was struggling. You were fine. We made a mistake. We're sorry. Please, don't do this. Don't tear the family apart over money. We can work this out. Drop the lawsuit. Let's talk. Please. I didn't answer. I blocked their numbers. Then Dean showed up at my office. I don't know how he got past security, but suddenly he was there, barging in while I was meeting with a client. Cameron, we need to talk. This is insane. You're suing mom and dad over a cabin you didn't even know existed until last week? Over money you never missed? He looked desperate. They're your parents. My parents. Our parents. You can't do this to them. I excused myself, walked him out to the lobby. Kept my voice low. Dean, that cabin was supposed to be mine. Grandpa spent nearly $400,000 on a birthday present for me. Mom and Dad took it and gave it to you. You knew it was mine. You lived in it for 5 years knowing. And now you're telling me I can't sue them? That I should just let it go? Dean's face went red. I didn't steal anything. They gave it to me. How was I supposed to know? I cut him off. You told Grandpa you knew. Christmas dinner. He asked if you knew the cabin was supposed to be mine. You said yes. You admitted it in front of everyone. Don't stand here and act like you're innocent. You're not. You're a thief just like them. His face drained white. Cameron, please. That cabin is my business. My retreat center. Everything I have is tied up in that property. If you take it, I lose everything. I'll be bankrupt, homeless. Please. I'm your brother. I stepped in quieter. You're not my brother. Brothers don't steal from each other. Brothers don't take what isn't theirs and pretend it is. Brothers don't watch their sibling get robbed and stay quiet. You're just someone who benefited from theft. And now I'm taking back what's mine. You have 30 days to move out once the title transfers. I'd start packing. Dean left. I went back to my meeting, apologized, finished the consultation, stayed late. Got home around 8. Found my sister Claire sitting on the stoop. You're avoiding everyone, she said. That I unlocked the door. I'm not avoiding. I'm protecting myself from people who think I should forgive theft because we share DNA. She followed me inside. Not invited but not unexpected. Claire was always the peacemaker, the one smoothing things over. Cameron, I get it. What Mom and Dad did was wrong. I'm not defending it. But suing them, taking everything, wrecking the family, do you really want that? I dropped my bag. Claire, they stole nearly $1 million from me. Over 10 years. Systematically. They gave it all to Dean. Let me struggle. Let me think I was alone while they funneled everything to him. So yeah, I'm suing. And if it ruins the family, that's on them, not me. She sat on the couch. Dean's going to lose everything. I sat across from her. Dean's going to lose what was never his. He'll finally face consequences for living in a stolen cabin, for benefiting from fraud. That's not cruelty. It's reality. Claire stared at me. You've changed. You're harder. Colder. This isn't you. I laughed flat. I haven't changed. I stopped pretending. Stopped acting like it's okay that mom and dad always favored Dean. Stopped accepting scraps and saying thank you while he got everything. I'm done. I'm done pretending this is normal. Done believing family means letting people steal from you. She left 20 minutes later. Said she hoped I'd change my mind, that I'd remember what family means, that I wouldn't let money break us, that I closed the door after her. Sat down. Thought about her words, about family, about what it's supposed to mean. Family should support you, build you up, have your back. Mine did the opposite. They tore me down, stole from me, lied to me for a decade. That's not family. That's just people who share genes and think that gives them the right to hurt you without consequences. The case picked up speed. My parents brought in a lawyer, filed their response, denied everything. They argued they had the right to manage the family money, said Grandpa gave them the funds to use however they wanted, claimed every decision was for the good of the family. They told the court I had no business questioning them, called me vindictive, ungrateful. Marcus, my lawyer, tore through all of it. He showed the checks, each with "For Cameron" scrawled on the memo line. He brought out Grandpa's letters, clear as day. The money in the cabin were gifts meant for me. He even had the ledger, page after page, tracking every dollar they siphoned off. Emails too, where my parents told Grandpa they'd given me things they never actually did. Their story collapsed. No real defense left. Just desperate talk about family discretion, which meant nothing when the evidence screamed fraud. By the third week, the judge ordered mediation. Let's try to settle before trial, he said, and brought in a mediator, a woman in her 60s, calm, practiced, probably seen 1,000 families like mine. She gave her speech about how lawsuits ruin families, how expensive court can be, how compromise is better for everyone. I listened. Then I told her, I don't want compromise. I want what's mine. Every dollar, the cabin, and I want it in writing with their admission of guilt. That's the only deal I'll take. My father looked awful. He'd dropped 20 pounds since Christmas, looked 10 years older in less than 2 months. Cameron, please. We don't have the money. We spent it, on the house, retirement, just living. It's gone. We can't give you what we don't have. I stared at him. This was the man who taught me to ride a bike, to throw a baseball, and who'd stolen almost $1 million from me bit by bit for a decade. Then sell the house. Cash out your retirement. Take out loans. I don't care how, but you're paying me back every cent. My mother started crying, again. She'd been crying for weeks. Cameron, that house is our home. 30 years. We're too old to start over. Please. We're your parents. We love you. I leaned back. If you loved me, you wouldn't have stolen from me. If you loved me, you'd have treated me the same as Dean. You'd have told Grandpa the truth about the cabin. You don't love me. You love Dean. Fine. But don't steal from me and call it love. The mediation crashed and burned after 2 hours. Their big offer? $50,000 and a written apology. No admission they did anything wrong, no cabin, just a little money and some empty words. I told Marcus to get ready for trial. If they wanted a fight, we'd give them one, and win. We had documents, Grandpa's testimony, everything. Trial was scheduled for April. My parents tried one last move. They sent my aunt, my mom's sister, a woman I'd always liked. She came to my apartment, brought homemade cookies, tried to talk me down. Cameron, your mother's a mess, your dad's having chest pains. The doctor says he could have a heart attack from the stress. Do you really want that on your conscience? I took a cookie. She really does make great cookies. Aunt Linda, they stole from me for 10 years. If facing the consequences is killing them, that's not on me. They can settle, admit what they did, pay back the money, hand over the cabin. They're choosing to fight and deny everything. That's what's hurting them, not me. She tried again. But you're their son. Don't you think you owe them something? They raised you, gave you a home and education. Doesn't that count? I put the cookie down. Here's what they gave me. A childhood where I was always second to Dean, teenage years where my achievements meant nothing, an adulthood where I learned to never ask for help because I knew I'd get none. And all the while they were stealing what was supposed to be mine. So no, I don't owe them. They owe me $860,000 plus damages. She left. The cookies stayed behind. I ate them over the next week. They were delicious. Didn't change a thing. 2 weeks before trial, my parents broke. Their lawyer called Marcus. They wanted to settle. They couldn't face the trial, the attention, the shame. They were finally ready to talk. Same conference room as before, but the mood had changed. My parents looked crushed, like the fight had gone out of them. Their lawyer opened right up. What do you want? Marcus didn't waste time. He slid the settlement paperwork across the table. The terms were all there. Pay the full $860,000, even if it meant installments, but no more than 5 years. Transfer the Lake Granby cabin to me within 30 days. Sign a written admission of what they'd done, stealing my money, funneling it to Dean and themselves, lying to Grandpa about the gifts. Everything in writing, everything public. Their lawyer read the paper, then looked at them. This is total surrender. You're admitting to fraud, theft. This could mean criminal charges. Marcus just nodded. Yeah. But we'll hold off on criminal charges if you sign, pay it back, and settle. That's the deal. Full restitution, no jail. Or we go to trial, win, and then we press charges. They huddled for 10 minutes. Nobody spoke. Eventually my dad looked up. We'll settle. We don't have $860,000, but we'll sell the house, pay as much as we can up front, do installments for the rest. Just, please. No criminal charges. We're too old to go to prison. We signed on April 3, 2025. They paid $700,000 right away from selling the house. The rest, $160,000, would come in $5,000 monthly payments for 32 months. The cabin title would be in my name within 30 days. They signed everything, admissions of fraud, theft, lying to Grandpa, stealing my money. All public record, permanent, undeniable. They listed the house on April 5. The place in Cherry Hills Village, 30 years, raised kids, expected to retire there. It went in 3 days. Multiple offers. They sold it for $2.1 million. After the mortgage and costs, they got $1.8 million. I got my $700,000 right away. With what was left, they bought a 2-bedroom condo in Aurora. From a mansion to a middle-class apartment, huge change. Dean had 30 days to move out of the cabin once the title transferred. He called me desperate. Cameron, please, I need 60 days. I have to find a place, move my business. I'm your brother. I didn't budge. You've got 30 days. That's the deal. Use them. He left on day 29. The place was trashed, dishes piled up, garbage everywhere, furniture beaten up. Maybe spite, maybe just carelessness, not my problem. I hired cleaners, boxed up his stuff, rented a storage unit in his name, sent him the first bill. He didn't pay. I let the unit go to auction. His stuff got sold to cover the rent. Not my issue anymore. First weekend in May, I drove up to the cabin. My cabin, finally. Not Dean's, not my parents'. The one Grandpa bought for me 5 years ago. The place I should have been enjoying all along. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,000 square feet of sunlight and wood, mountain views everywhere, dock stretching into the lake, canoe and kayak still there. Over an acre of pines and silence that I walked through every room, imagining how things might have been if I'd known about it the whole time. If I'd spent weekends here, had a place to run to when life got rough. This was supposed to be mine. Grandpa's gift. Stolen from me, but now it was back that I sat on the dock, feet over the water, watching the sunset. I didn't feel happy exactly. Not triumphant. Just right. Like the universe had finally set things straight, like justice had finally shown up. I'd taken back what was mine, and no one was going to take it away again. My phone rang. Grandpa, how's the cabin? He asked. I smiled. It's perfect. Exactly what I would have picked for myself. Thank you, for buying it, for figuring out what happened, for helping me get it back. For everything. He was quiet for a second. Cameron, I'm sorry I didn't check sooner. Sorry I didn't see what they were doing before they took so much. Sorry you lost all that time, missed birthdays and holidays there. Sorry they stole that from you. I watched the sun drop lower. It's not your fault. You tried to help. They chose to steal. That's on them, not you. Now I go to the cabin every weekend. Sometimes alone, sometimes with friends from work. When I tell them what happened, they're shocked. Your parents did what? They stole how much? And you sued them? Yeah, I sued them. I won. And honestly, I'd do it all over again. I met Sarah at the cabin. She was next door with her friends, just renting for the week. We bumped into each other on the dock, started talking, and just never really stopped. Swapped numbers, started texting, then dating. On our 3rd date, I laid it all out. Christmas dinner, the mess with the cabin, the lawsuit, the settlement. She listened the whole way through, didn't cut me off once. When I finished, she just said, "Good for you for standing up for yourself. Family doesn't get to break the law just because they're family. Your parents are thieves. They earned the fallout." I think I fell a little in love with her right then. She understood, really got it. What my parents did wasn't just unfair, it was criminal, and I can't forgive that. We've been together 8 months now. Most weekends she's here at the cabin. We've started talking about moving up full-time. I can work remote and she's a graphic designer, she works from anywhere. We could sell our Denver apartments and just live here, actually start a life in the mountains. No more city stress, no family drama. We're thinking about it seriously. As for my parents, that's over. I haven't spoken to them since the settlement. They tried calls, texts, letters. I blocked everything, sent the letters back unopened. I made it clear, we're done. No contact ever. Claire tried to mediate. They're your parents, Cameron. They're old. Do you really want it to end like this? Yeah, I do. Because the other option is pretending. Acting like what they did doesn't matter, like it's forgivable, like they wouldn't do it again if they had the chance. I'm not doing that. I'm done pretending. I live in reality. And the reality is, my parents are thieves. They picked Dean over me my whole life. They made that choice and now they live with it. Dean and I don't talk either. 6 months after the settlement, he sent this long email. Apology, excuses, how he was young and dumb, didn't realize how wrong it was, wants to make amends. I never answered. Dean had 5 years to make amends. 5 years living in the cabin he knew was supposed to be mine, 5 years keeping quiet, just enjoying what he'd taken. That's not someone who deserves forgiveness. That's someone who got exactly what he earned, nothing. Now he's working at REI selling hiking boots. The retreat center he tried to start is gone. His dreams crashed when he lost the cabin. He's in a studio apartment, old car, hourly pay. Some people say I ruined his life. I say I just stopped him from living in a house he stole. Grandpa and I are closer than ever. We have dinner every Tuesday when I'm in Denver. When I'm at the cabin, he comes up on Saturdays sometimes, stays a few days. We fish, we talk, watch the sunset from the dock. He's leaving me everything in his will. Not because I sued my parents, that decision was made years ago, but now it's ironclad. Trusts, legal stuff, protections. My parents can't touch it, can't challenge it, can't twist it around. When he's gone, he says, everything he built is mine. Not my father's, not Dean's, mine. Because I'm the only one who didn't try to steal from him. The only one who kept his trust. I hope he lives forever, but when the time comes, I'll be ready. I'll make sure every dollar goes where he wanted. No detours, no theft, no lies. I'm 36 now. It's been 15 months since that Christmas dinner blew everything up. 15 months since I learned the truth about my family. 15 months since I decided to fight back. People ask if I regret it, if I miss my parents, if I wish I could fix it. No, I don't regret anything. I don't miss people who stole from me. There's nothing to fix because what they did wasn't a mistake. It was years of theft, fraud, betrayal. You don't fix that. You don't forgive it. You accept it and you move on. And I have. I've got the cabin on Lake Granby. I've got a grandfather who actually cares about me. I've got a girlfriend who thinks I'm brave for standing up for myself. I've got weekends in the mountains and peace. Boundaries that keep me safe from people who'd hurt me. Consequences for people who tried. I'm good. Better than good. I have what's mine, what was always supposed to be mine. I had to sue my own parents to get it, but I did. And nobody's taking it from me again. That's what matters. Not my relationship with my parents, not Dean, not what the rest of the family thinks. What matters is I stood up for myself. I demanded justice. I got what was mine, and I'm building a life that doesn't include people who'd steal from me. That's success. That's winning. And this, right here, is where I'm meant to be. Thanks for sticking with me through all of it. Before you head out, I've got 2 more stories for you. Both come from men who learned that family isn't just about blood. It's about the people who stick with you when everything's out in the open. Pick the one that grabs your attention. And hey, if you've ever felt like the outsider, hit that notification bell and join a group that gets it. See you tomorrow. Don't forget, your story matters.